Hey everyone, and welcome back to Travel Tree. Did you know that in some of Canada's largest cities, rising rent costs are forcing long-time locals out of their homes? Imagine spending years building a life in a city you love, only to be pushed out because you can no longer afford the rent. This isn't a distant or hypothetical issue, it's happening right now, and thousands of Canadians are feeling the pinch. In this video, we'll explore the reality of skyrocketing rents, examine the key causes behind the crisis, and take a closer look at how different cities across Canada are being affected. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe because we're here to bring you the latest insights on everything from travel to real estate trends in Canada. Let's jump into the details of Canada cruises and their factors. The reality of rising rent. In cities like Vancouver and Toronto, the cost of rent has reached eye-popping levels. For example, the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Vancouver now exceeds $2,500 per month, and similar trends are seen in Toronto. Meanwhile, cities such as Victoria and Montreal are experiencing even faster increases. This surge in rental costs is not just a statistic, it has real-life consequences. The middle class is being squeezed out, and many individuals and families are forced to either leave their cherished neighborhoods or endure overcrowded and substandard living conditions. Causes of the rent crisis. There are several factors driving this rent crisis. High demand, an influx of newcomers seeking job opportunities has pushed up the demand for housing in major urban centers. Limited supply, in cities like Vancouver, geographic restrictions such as mountains and water limit new housing developments, which reduces supply. Investor activity. Foreign investors and short-term rental platforms like Airbnb are taking rental units off the market, leaving fewer options for long-term residents. Economic and social factors. Rising property values, gentrification, and the conversion of older rental properties into luxury condos have all contributed to higher rents. These factors combine to create a perfect storm, where the cost of living becomes unaffordable for those without substantial income. City-by-city overview. Winnipeg, Manitoba. Once known for its affordable rent, Winnipeg has seen one of the sharpest increases in recent years. In 2023, the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in desirable neighborhoods rose by nearly 10%, leaving longtime residents feeling the squeeze. Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Saskatoon, a city once celebrated for its affordable lifestyle, now faces a rent crisis. The cost of renting a one-bedroom apartment has surged by over 12% in just the past year due to a booming local economy and increased demand from workers relocating to the area. Calgary, Alberta. Calgary, traditionally known for its budget-friendly housing, is no longer immune to rising costs. Rent in the downtown core and areas like Beltline have jumped by nearly 10%, driven by economic growth, gentrification, and an influx of luxury developments that push out long-time residents. Ottawa, Ontario. Ottawa, the capital city with stable government jobs and a rich cultural heritage, has also seen a significant rental surge. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment has increased by almost 10%, putting pressure on students, public sector workers, and long-term residents who depend on fixed incomes. Montreal, Quebec. Montreal, once famous for its vibrant culture and affordable living, is now experiencing a rapid rise in rent. In several neighborhoods, rental prices have increased by nearly 15% over the past 2 years, making it harder for residents to afford the city they once called home. Victoria, British Columbia. Victoria, known for its stunning waterfront views and charming streets, is facing dramatic rent hikes. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment has surged by almost 18%, forcing many locals to search for more affordable options outside the city center. Edmonton, Alberta. Edmonton, once celebrated for its affordable cost of living, has recently seen an 8% increase in average rent, especially in areas that were once budget-friendly. Revitalization projects in downtown Edmonton have boosted demand, driving up prices and forcing residents to either compromise on space or relocate. Toronto, Ontario. Toronto, a global business hub, now has rental costs that are nearly as high as Vancouver's. With the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment surpassing $2,500 per month in many areas, the relentless demand and limited supply are making it extremely challenging for long-term residents to afford housing. Vancouver, British Columbia. Vancouver tops the list, with rent levels so high that many locals can no longer afford to live in the city. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment hovers around $2,800 per month, with prime neighborhoods reaching even higher. Geographic limitations and heavy investor activity have made Vancouver one of the most expensive rental markets in North America. The rent crisis in Canada is more than just numbers, it's a pressing issue that affects thousands of residents daily. From Vancouver to Toronto, and from Ottawa to smaller cities like Winnipeg and Saskatoon, rising rental costs are forcing many to make tough choices, such as leaving neighborhoods they love or living in overcrowded conditions. This situation is a stark reminder of the broader challenges in our housing market, driven by high demand, limited supply, and increasing investor influence. If you've been personally impacted by these rent hikes, or if you're curious about the causes and potential solutions, your voice matters. We encourage you to share your experiences and thoughts in the comments below. For more in-depth updates on real estate, travel tips, and Canadian immigration news, please subscribe to Travel Tree. Your support helps us continue bringing you the best content to navigate these challenging times.